mites can be fused away and or sold.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
I've noticed she goes from going up in hits from BB to SPB and then down in UBB. But overall, I think she's probably the best out of the batch, mainly because the BC and HC buff, which in the GGCs and those, you don't even really need a healer with her to an extent. She's too OP. I would give her an A+.
A+, okay. So, while we're waiting for Doc to come back, I'll just give you guys my view on Feeva. Alright, so Feeva's stats at Lord is quite balanced out. You could get any type for her and be pretty much okay. So, with Feeva, you know, we got the leader skill. First off, if you need a unit for battle crystal generation, you have the best one right here. Get 70% extra battle crystals on Spark, and your BB gauge gets filled basically 50% faster. Now the extra skill is actually worth noting here, because 25% chance to heal 20% of damage might not, you know, sound great, but it's still a chance to increase Feeva's survivability when it comes to getting nuked. And getting nuked basically means your Feeva might die, so having that extra skill on survivability is probably one of the better ones in my opinion. It doesn't really focus so much on like attack or like, you know, generating more battle crystals. It's focused on keeping your Feeva alive. Here we have a really interesting BB skill too. It's quite high at 28 hits for a BB. I think the previous record holder for BB was, I believe, Sheeta at 25. Now we have Feeva at 28. And not only do you get 28 hits with a really high multiplier, you also get a 70% buff on attack, defense, and recovery. So you don't even need to bring an attack, defense, or recovery buffer to your team either. If you alternate between FBB and BB with Feeva, you can pretty much, you know, sustain yourself through anything, and bring along other units for, I guess, different roles. So Super Brave Wrist, really high hit count, the highest Battle Crystal and Heart Crystal buff in the game, and her role, like I said, as a BB spam unit, as a healer, pseudo healer, and as a buffer. I think she does all of those really well, given different circumstances. The only thing she's kind of missing is, I guess, spark damage, but obviously you can bring in another unit to do that. And like I said about Zedus, the reason I was able to run such a high costing battle crystal unit was because of Feeva. Without a Feeva, because I've tried Lario as well, it really wasn't the same, because against Narza, I basically almost had full SVBs up with just one Feeva lead and like 2 Larios. So Feeva, in my opinion, completely replaces Lario in terms of BB spam. You don't have to have her as a leader either. You can put her in your team as a sub unit if you don't need as much battle crystal generation. And overall, I'd have to say that Feeva is probably top 2 in this batch. And Doc, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, two small things. I just first off, I'm back.
Go ahead.
One thing that made me really happy with Feeva is that I could actually bring back Elsa to my squad, because like before that I used Rosetta as a leader, and with that Elsa was more or less useless. So now we got Elsa back in the game. And favorite type wise, I give her a Guardian, not just to make Nova happy, but because I got her as a Guardian as well. And well, it's like usually, as long as you don't get Oracle, you're fine. And I got a Guardian one. I say it's probably renders her useful for a longer time because she will survive more stuff. So yeah, she gets a Guardian from me.
Yeah. If you ask me, one of the issues I had with Rosetta lead was if I tried to pair Rosetta with a Maxwell, and I left them at the end, it was extremely difficult to actually spark Rosetta with a Maxwell. And I think Feeva has a better spread in that regard as well for sparking. And overall, I'd say Elza, while her damage is slightly lower, she does spark better than a Rosetta, and that's primarily why I see people using a lot of Elza as well. Like in the days of Douglas, where you had like 4 or 5 Douglases sparking all of the time, it was like turned into like 4 or 5 Elzas, and you know, we might not see it yet, but I could see a team of just like 4 or 5 Feevas going crazy. But you know, who has the gems for that, right? Alright, so that concludes the Feeva unit analysis portion, rare summon batch, and I can see that a lot of you guys really like Feeva. Got a lot of waifu material out of B. I guess that's B for Breaker on her. So talking a little bit about the rates not being up. So for those of you who didn't know, the rates were up as super rare summon for quite a bit, and a lot of people were like, you know, the rates of the new units were supposed to be increased, then it turns out they weren't. Then there's like a lot of fallout from this because a lot of people bought gems, and as far as I'm concerned, the rates weren't really up. These units were only obtainable at 5 or 6 stars, so you have to get a Rainbow Door to even have a chance at it. And I think Gumi's like handling of the situation was a little bit poor, and that's just me. How about you guys, Doc?
Well, first off, PR-wise, they screwed it up all. Like, it's not just that they brought up this picture where people expected it and they didn't get it, but later on they brought the stream that people expect information stuff or new stuff coming, and basically the whole stream was about Gumi saying, yeah, that's how we meant it. It's like, oh, god damn it, guys, no. But to be honest, I'm not that mad about it at all. Like, obviously, yes, it's annoying, but for me, it's when new units came up, they come up in the early morning, and then I'm at work, and while I'm at work, on the lunch break, I can check Reddit and read up all the stuff, and then when I get back home, I can do my summons. And by the time I got home, I already knew from Reddit, like, yeah, that stuff went horribly wrong. We won't get the increased rates. We only get like low chances something way. So when I set up my stuff to summon, I already know, okay, I will probably spend more gems than I hoped to spend. I already knew that, so it's not that much of a surprise for me. So it's not like it didn't shock me by that. I knew from Reddit it's going to happen. Alright, am I willing to spend those gems? And I decided yes, I'm willing to spend those gems because those units will be awesome. And on another note, I don't really, it's like, I don't like that people had to spend a lot of money to get a few units. That's really boggling. But on the other hand, I really like the fact that there are not that many of those units out. Like, yesterday it